a lot of conservatives were told on day one, week one, we're going to find out about Epstein, 9/11, MLK, John F. Kennedy. We're going to find all that stuff out. And we've been wanting it for a while to see what's going on with this, who's behind it, especially the last few years at a whole different level. And we're going to find out who the assassination attempt was. Was he tied to anybody? Was Thomas tied to anybody? And then we all see the same clip that you've seen, right? It's the clip with Bongino and Cash Patel.
Yes.
If you can pull that clip up, Rob. And, these are two men that almost anybody who knows, I think that's the one right there, almost anybody that knows them would call them patriots, right?
Yeah.
They've served their country. They've given their lives to the country. Dan has at the highest level, so has Cash Patel. And then we see this clip here that throws a lot of people off. Go for it, Rob.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work. You said...
And you saw people that have done body language. Dan looks uncomfortable saying what he's saying. The way he answered it, you can tell they've role played that. And, now this is purely what people are speculating, right? And then you have this one clip with Pam Bondi.
Correct.
Rob, if you have the Pam Bondi one.
I'd like to play
So
that.
maybe walk us through what's going on here before we play.
I don't know if you want me to narrate live as opposed to watching me on the screen narrate.
What's better to do?
Perhaps we go to the beginning of where you see Pam Bondi on the hidden camera. So I'll just talk live what I said on the camera. Okay, so there she is at the White House. Go back to the beginning of that clip of her. So that was a tough one for me to publish because you asked if I'm political, and I think I'm, you have to decide who you want to be. Are you a political operative or are you a journalist? And to be a journalist, it's hard because you have to do things like this. Pam Bondi was caught in a restaurant telling a stranger, a nanny, on April 28th or so, that there are tens of thousands of videos involving little children. Now, I didn't target her. I didn't seek to get this. People send me stuff. Sometimes I have undercover people all over the country, and they happen to get a conversation in an airport. I get sent this. I'm like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. This is not public. The Attorney General of the United States, and by the way, Kash, I believe the FBI reports to her, so this is the top dog, is saying to a nanny in a restaurant something that no one knows. And to me, I'm like, well, that's an interesting story, is it not? So I do what I have to do. I reach out to the Attorney General's office for comment. I say, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, was caught in a restaurant saying, and I actually wonder whether I should have done that. I probably did him a favor by giving them the exact quotes. And then a few days later, she says the exact same thing publicly that I emailed the Attorney General's office for comment saying, and played the clip of her at the White House. This is what she said.
Of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been...
Okay.
So...
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
Pause. So it's interesting because she said it privately in a restaurant
publicly
in a restaurant, not privately. And to me, it's like, that's something. So I felt like I had to publish this. Now, if she hadn't have gone publicly and said this, and I had released this clip in the restaurant, it would have been a much, much, much bigger deal. But it does raise questions, doesn't it? Why are they not being transparent with the American people? Why are they telling a nanny in a restaurant? So it raises questions to your point about Kash. I know Kash a little bit. I think he is a good man. And I mean that. Based upon what I know about him. I don't know Dan as much, but I also think he's a good man. I don't trust the bureaucracy that reports to them. And if you put any good man and the most ethical person at the top of that bureaucracy, I think you're setting them up for failure. Let me give you a specific example of where I'm coming from. I was raided by the FBI shortly before I met you. The FBI pointed guns at me and took my reporter's notebooks. They just recently closed the case against me a few months ago, the FBI, in February of this year. And they gave me back my phones that they had for 3.5 years. When you get a search warrant to conduct a raid, you have to go to a judge, right, with a reason. Oh, we have this probable cause, the reasons why to raid. When you close a case, which is very rare for the FBI to execute a search warrant and not bring charges, it hardly ever happens, you are required by law to give a copy of the probable cause. That is the reason why you conducted the raid. Guess what they did? They redacted every single word of the probable cause used to raid my newsroom. Every word. Maybe your producer can pull it up on Google or something. Every word. There's a black bar, Pat, through. It's ridiculous. It's literally black bars. And we're not talking about terrorists. We're not talking about Jeff Epstein. We're not talking about child molesters and drug traffickers. We're talking about James O'Keefe, the journalist. So if our FBI, our Attorney General's office, can't be transparent about why they raided a journalist's newsroom, why do we have any faith in the FBI to be transparent about these other issues? That's where I'm coming from on this.
And is this in regard to the Ashley Biden diary, James?
Correct.
This is it, right? Because somebody contacted you and told them that they found the diary of the daughter of the President of the United States saying a bunch of stuff and also claiming that her father showered with her probably at inappropriate ages, and then they raid your house.
Correct. Yeah, it's an affidavit. It's my go down. It's Project Veritas journalist detained devices seized. This is not it, but it's on my X page. There's on page 47 of the affidavit. Every word is redacted. I mean, I was enraged. The American Civil Liberties Union, which is a liberal group, came to my defense. This is crazy. You take if another country like Ukraine or Russia or North Korea did this, our State Department would. So my point is, I don't have a lot of faith in these institutions. I just don't.
What do you think happens when they get in? That's what I want to know. Because to me,
there it is, right there. I apologize. I apologize. Could you just? I apologize. Interrupt.
Is that real?
That's a real document. Can you zoom in, please?
Like what?
It says probable cause justifying search of O'Keefe's person and premises. Every single word is redacted. They even redacted the footnote.
So
isn't this insane? There's more of this.
So it means they can do whatever they want, and they don't have to show you why they came in your house.
It's literally it's a violation. Look at this. Look at this.
The whole thing. Keep going, Rob.
Like, okay, all right. See what they did there.
Okay, wait. There's something unredacted. Read the bottom.
What's the bottom?
Read that. Based upon this is an FBI agent, I have learned, among other things, that cell phones are capable of sending emails.
Great.
Are you kidding me?
I'm shocked they didn't redact that.
This is not Saturday Night Live. And then it goes on to the rest of the affidavit. But the previous 3 pages are the probable cause. That is the justification for the raid against James O'Keefe.
And James, if you don't mind, what were they looking for? The diary?
They weren't looking for the diary. They already had that. What were they? Well, that's a loaded question. Yeah. Were they really trying to do?
What were they really trying to do?
They were really trying to get inside my cell phone because people in the government come to me with information, which as a reporter I have a right to receive, and they don't like that.
Of course.
Now, if you think about it.
Did you give them the password to your cell phone?
This is another very interesting story.
Because you know what happened with Ron Johnson, where when they walked up to his house and they took his phone, and the rule of thumb, if you ever hand your phone over, you're not supposed to give the password. How did they get into your phone?
This is a crazy story. They bang on the door, and it's the loudest pounding. You know it's the feds. You just know. And I go to the door, and I'm like, I'm opening the door because, they're going to shoot me. And then they put me in handcuffs. I think I'm under arrest. They say, no, this is a search warrant. I say, I want to speak to my lawyer. I say over and over again, I want to speak to my lawyer because I learned I was arrested 10 years prior. Don't talk to the FBI. Just don't, even if you're innocent. They say, would you like to use the iPhone on your nightstand? I said, yes. And then I unlock the phone because I have to call my lawyer. And the moment that I unlock my phone, they snatch the phone. Get out of here.
Holy shit.
They snatched the phone out of my hand because I unlocked the phone. And then the FBI agent, almost to torture me in front of me, he goes to the settings and he changes the settings to make it not go to sleep.
Wow.
Yes. And then
Display.
they put the phone in an evidence bag. Now the FBI has access to all of my signal messages. Do you know what's in my signal messages? All the people in the government that come to me with information.
Wow.
So the Department of Justice, this is the Biden Department, or a month before Trump was elected in 2020. Excuse me, Biden was elected in 2020. Now they have access to all of my sources.
Jeez.
So this is what's considered to be a constitutional raping, because the American Bill of Rights have special protections for reporters. And you're talking to the only newsroom that has ever been raided by the FBI. We're the only ones that have ever been raided. And they did it just to get the information. So what's behind all those black bars? I believe confidential FBI informants.
Of course.
People who lied to the FBI to set me up. So I could tell you so many war stories, guys, but you ask me questions about Kash and Dan Bongino. They're great guys. I think they mean well. But if you put me in charge of the FBI, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, how do you trust a bureaucracy like that? Where people behave that, by the way, that is totally illegal. You can't take a gun, point it against your forehead, and say, give me your reporter's notebooks. If that happened in Eastern Europe, our State Department would be issuing sanctions against that country. But it happened in New York.
Yeah. So guys, one question, James. So they promise all this. Day one, we're going to do this. Day one, we're going to do that. What do you think happened? Meaning they're in now. Donald Trump is the president. He's told them, go ahead, you guys do whatever you want. Who makes a Pam Bondi, a Dan Bongino, a Cash Patel all of a sudden change their tunes and not release what we know? Because, James, at the end of the day, she even said, tens of thousands, I'm assuming, James, is, let's say, 30,000 hours of grown men having sex with children. And, James, I don't know if you're familiar. In the movie JFK, Jim Garrison says, and I quote, let justice be done though the heavens fall, which basically means going after truth no matter how powerful the people and no matter what happens to the system. So what happened? What do you think they go in, and who tells them you are not releasing any of this because our friends and blah, blah, blah are attached to it?
I don't know if anyone tells them. I mean, some have said they put you in a skiff. This is not a fact. This is speculation, but a funny notion that might illustrate what could happen is, you know, that image of JFK getting shot?
Yes.
Do they put the leaders in a skiff that's a secure, compartmentalized information facility? Do they show the Zapruder film of JFK getting shot and said, you better do what we tell you to do? Or that could be you. Now, I'm not saying they did that to these gentlemen, and I actually genuinely mean this. I've met Kash. I think he's a genuinely good man. I think the system is institutionally corrupt. And everyone says, you know what they say to me, Pat? Oh, call Kash. He'll help you out. Call Pam. Yeah, like I got him on speed dial. They're getting asked for 10,000 favors a day. Mm-hmm. I don't have any money to give them. The system is so broken when you need the guy at the top to be so influential. It's the system. It's the Article 3 judges. It's the courts. It's the line prosecutors. The agents in my apartment. Do you know that when the agents were in my apartment, I could tell by the looks on their faces that they didn't want to be there. They're like, this is crazy. This is wrong. But they did it.
Well, speculate a little bit. What do you think happens when they get in? Because they tend to change when they get in.
Are you talking about the FBI agents?
Anybody and everybody. That the moment they get in, and the whole quote by Mario Cuomo, people campaign in poetry, but they govern in prose. You know, once they go in, you know, they used to communicate and talk to you. Now the only way they talk to you is with emojis. You know, hey, when they were campaigning, they wanted to talk to you regularly. I want to come on the podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then all of a sudden they're in. They're more quiet about. But what do you think happens when they get in?
Politics. I'm working on a story right now. One of the directors of the agency, they mean well. They go into FEMA, or they go on the IRS. They have all these notions of freedom and prosperity and eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. But then they get in there, and there's such snakes in these entities. DC, it's a land of phonies and narcissists. They're not attracted to do the right thing. They want power and money and sex. Are we under some delusion that the people in Washington want something other than power and money and sex? What percentage of the people in Washington inside these agencies are actually there to do the right thing? What percentage? For real? Are we naive and foolish enough to think that people are in these places?
I think they start off wanting to do the right thing, and then through peer pressure, they get forced.
Or
to
there's
filter
a
out their
few
statesman in
people,
'em.
or there's a few people that are there who do the right thing, but there's so many snakes and manipulative. Look at what happened to me. Look why I'm on your show. I started my own institution because I didn't want to be part of the snakes, and the snakes infiltrate. And I think in some regards it's human nature. And this is a really good question you're asking. I'm learning in real time. I started an institution because I didn't trust institutions, and then I'm removed from my own institution by snakes.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm James O'Keefe. Been doing this journalism thing for about 20 years. Truth, justice, exposing corruption, everything that comes along with it. If you want to connect with me, talk to me about any of this, you can connect with me through Minect. You can see the QR code below. Look forward to hearing from you.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.